Cerulean is a blue that can range from a light azure blue to a more intense sky blue and can also be mixed with the hue of green. The first recorded use of cerulean as a color name in English was in 1590. The word is derived from the Latin word of ceruleus, which in turn probably derives from ceruleum, the diminutive form of caelum or Salem in English, meaning heaven or sky. Cerulean blue and cobalt blue can sometimes be confused for one another, but are not the same. While both are shades of blue, cerulean blue has a distinct hue with green undertones, making it cooler in appearance compared to cobalt blue. Although different in color, cerulean blue's journey does begin with the invention of the cobalt blue pigment in 1802 by a French chemist who was inspired by the blue hues used in Chinese porcelain. A few years later, in 1805, Swiss chemist Albert Hofner synthesized cerulean blue from a compound of cobalt and tin oxide. It was known as Hofner blue during the first half of the 19th century. Art suppliers began referring to it as cerulean in the second half of the 19th century. A dark cerulean blue pigment was introduced in the early 20th century. Dark cerulean is a compound of cobalt, aluminum, and chromium oxide. Today, it is sometimes marketed under the cerulean blue name, but is darker and greener than the original version. Although it was synthesized in the early 1800s, it took several decades for the pigment to become commercially available. Artists, particularly the Impressionists, quickly embraced cerulean blue for its vibrant and expressive qualities. Its use in oil paintings, especially for capturing the skies and waters, became popular. Cerulean blue, along with cobalt blue and synthetic ultramarine, became part of a new set of colors quickly adopted by artists of the time who wanted to enhance their paintings with a sense of vibrancy and life. Painter Jehan Verbeer called these intense pigments his dazzlers, while Impressionist artist Pissarro claimed to have banished the old, dull earth colors from his palette, and Monet mixed his ochres and khakis from complex combinations of the new, brighter pigments. Cerulean blue was used in the pointillism effects of sea and sky, made by Paul Signac, and in the vibrant clothing seen in Manet's 1878 Corner of a Cafe concert, as well as Bertha Morisot's 1879 Summer's Day. Cerulean blue has made a significant impact in the world of fashion and design. The color's cool and calming undertones make it a popular choice. At the onset of the year 2000, Pantone announced its very first color of the year, a color they called cerulean blue, a sky blue color that reflects what some called at the time an inner peace and spiritual fulfillment for the coming millennia. The Pantone Institute at the time had data to support that the color blue was the leading color amongst designers and that it was reducing heart rates and blood pressure. Since the start of this Pantone initiative, many have utilized the color of the year as a way to appear trendy and modern. Cerulean would go on to gain additional recognition through its mention in the 2006 film The Devil Wears Prada, where it is used to illustrate the influence of color in the fashion industry.
It's a tough call. They're so different.
The film's iconic cerulean sweater scene highlights how fashion choices, even seemingly inconsequential ones, are influenced by the decisions made by influential designers and fashion houses.
No, nothing's, it's just that both of those belts look exactly the same to me, I'm still learning about this stuff and,
This stuff? Oh, okay. I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select, I don't know, that lumpy blue sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that that sweater is not just blue, it's not turquoise, it's not lapis, it's actually cerulean. And you're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns, and then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets? I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room from a pile of stuff.
The film's iconic cerulean sweater scene highlights how fashion choices, even seemingly inconsequential ones, are influenced by the decisions made by influential designers and fashion houses. It's a speech that many people credit as the moment that they finally understood how the fashion industry works and why it matters.
I get it.
Trickle-down fashion is the dominant theory of how the trend food chain works, and even though outlets like the New York Times dismissed the speech as oversimplistic when the movie first came out, the convention has somehow endured. "It's outdated," said Red Godfrey, VP of the Nordstrom fashion office. "There's a complete mashup and melding of things at the moment, and it's very difficult to apply a single timeline." Social media has largely replaced traditional media as our go-to form of entertainment. Retailers are able to rely on e-commerce to track consumer shopping trends to inform their fashion trends. Cerulean blue continues to be a popular color in modern times, finding its place in various fields, including technology and contemporary art. Color psychology dictates that the color blue, in general, stands for being trustworthy, dependable, fiscally responsible, and secure. This makes sense when you consider the role it plays in the identities of big brands like Facebook, Walmart, AT&T, and probably your town's police department. In contemporary art, cerulean blue remains a favorite among artists who appreciate its ability to convey a sense of tranquility and capture the beauty of the natural world. This timeless hue continues to inspire and captivate.